on ProFootballNetwork.com, they have one potential breakout player to watch for all 32 NFL teams. And at the bottom of the list is the Washington Commanders. And their selection for a breakout player is Brian Robinson Jr. at running back. And here's the blurb on him. Dan Quinn is changing things in a big way for the Commanders, and with a ton of new pieces in place, the running game is going to be a rookie quarterback's best friend. Following a season in which Robinson showed some exciting potential, 2024 could be the year he puts himself in the breakout category. Are you buying that or selling that, Eric Bickle, biggest Commander fan in the room?
I mean, I think he's a capable back. I don't think there's anything special about him. So, I don't know. Maybe they're seeing stuff I'm not seeing. Guy's averaging 4 yards per carry over his 2 years here. He's basically a lock for 700 yards every year. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a renewed commitment to it.
I did see that Ben Standig, who works for The Athletic, he did kind of a prediction on everybody's role in the offense. And at this point, before training camp, his role prediction for Austin Eckler is 10 to 12 touches per game.
Right.
Between the receiving and the rushing attack. And if look, that's a prediction. That doesn't mean it's going to be the way things play out. But if Austin Eckler is only getting 10 to 12 touches per game, that means, I think, a pretty big role for Brian Robinson Jr. You also have Rodriguez sprinkled in there, too, to give those guys some rest. But
a little.
That tells me that Brian Robinson's getting 15 carries a game, minimum. If he stays healthy.
That's if he's correct on Austin Eckler. I've told you all along, and I mostly agree with EB, I don't think Brian Robinson is special. I think Austin Eckler has the possibility of being special. I know you don't want to overload him with carries, but I think he's going to be the first down back. And I would bet on him having more carries than Brian Robinson in the end because I just think he's better.
I'm not disputing who's a better and more impactful player. But
I'm going to play the better guy more.
But I just think for a guy who's 29 and coming off an injury-hampered campaign last year with the Chargers, that they're not going to subject him to the punishment of being the first and second down back. They're going to utilize him. I mean, there's a reason they brought him in.
But they might use him as a first and second down back on the first two series, and then Brian Robinson gets the third series.
We'll have to see how the roles
I think they're going to split carries, but I think in the end, Austin Eckler, because he's better, will get more carries. Will he have 220 carries or whatever the magical number that you brought up the other day? I doubt it. I don't think he's going to all of a sudden have his all-time carries in a season, but I think they're going to use him more. I disagree with that breakout star. I thought my guess was that the obvious one is Jaden Daniels.
Right.
All right, the obvious who's going to be the breakout star for the Washington Commanders, the obvious answer is Jaden Daniels.
Right.
But if you were trying to pick somebody different, I was not expecting Brian Robinson. For some reason, I was expecting it to be Luke McCaffrey. Intriguing how they'll use him.
It is, but I would say even if he had a great rookie year, it would be like 30 catches. That would be like
but haven't we read that they even plan on using him out of the backfield?
Well, there's definitely video of him taking carries out of the backfield, during some of the mini camps.
Getting back to Brian Robinson for a minute, you know how many 100-yard games he had last year, Cakes?
Did he play in all 17 games?
Maybe 15, I think.
It can't be a lot. I'm going to say 2.
How about 0?
Yeah,
you mean 90-yard games he had?
2.
0.
Oh.
Do you know how many games he had over 80 yards?
0?
1.
That's your guy, Cakes. That's the guy you're trumpeting.
I don't know what I don't know what everybody sees here.
Trust me. I'm the biggest Austin Eckler fan in the room. I'm the guy that's saying he should basically be a borderline Hall of Famer. That everybody else, Drab especially, shouts me down from the mountaintop.
Yeah, but you abandoned ship. That's like saying, I'm the guy that built the Titanic, and then you jumped off it.
All this is wrong. This is wrong information being spewed by John Paul Flame. I realize that there has been a shift in the way running backs have been utilized in the NFL.
We all realize that, Cakes.
You haven't realized
the fact that
guys don't carry the ball 25 or 28 times per game unless your name's Derrick Henry. That really doesn't happen anymore.
Nobody's expecting him to run it 25 to 28 times.
What is your ideal scenario that you could see playing out?
I could see Eckler getting 14 to 16 carries and Brian Robinson getting 10 to 12.
I would love to bet you any amount of money that Austin Eckler is not going to average 15 carries per game, what would you like to bet? You want to bet $20? You want to bet $50? I'm willing to take on all wagers.
Let me do the math.
15 or less carries per game. I'm on that side for Austin Eckler.
All I would like to bet is Eckler gets more carries than Brian Robinson.
No, I'm not going to do that because I don't know about injuries. Like that could, who knows how things work out. But I will bet on the low side of Austin Eckler 15 or more carries per game because I know that's not happening.
Well, you have to look at his history. So
that might be aggressive, but I think he's going to get more carries than Robinson, and I think he should. We talked about this the other day. He himself said, if you're a fantasy owner, go out and snag me.
Okay, but every guy's going to say that.
Haven't heard Brian Robinson say that.
Every guy's going to have bravado when it comes
Find
to...
me the Robinson quotes telling us to get him in fantasy.
Look, Brian Robinson knows he's a jag. He's just a guy. But if the offensive line is upgraded and he gets more opportunities, I think he's going to be the guy who noses out Eckler for the lead backfield role and probably the goal line work.
Eckler, when he started the season last year, had 16, 14, 14, 15, 14, 19, and then it's kind of started to diminish. I assume that's when he got hurt.
Right.
So, then it was like 10, 10, 10, 5, I don't know.
Anthony Lynn's the running backs coach.
That's his guy.
You're telling me he's going to put Brian Robinson as the number 1 and Eckler as the number 2?
They might
I think they're going to huddle in a room, all the offensive brain trust there, and they're going to say, we don't want to grind down Austin Eckler. He's 29 years old. He's coming off a season where he was limping on the field. Guys were catching him from behind all the time. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to limit his touches.
You may be proven
we want
right.
His touches to be impactful.
You may be proven right. I'm willing to make the wager, $10 wager.
Yes, let's go.
Again,
15 or less.
It's simple. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do it simple. Who has more carries? You put Brian Robinson.
Because if Brian Robinson snaps his leg in the week 2, then you automatically win the bet.
Okay, I'll give you an injury caveat.
What is the injury caveat?
If both guys play 15 games.
We'll have to negotiate.
You've been so vehement that Brian Robinson's going to be the guy. The coaches are going to say this. They're going to say Eckler can't touch it this much. And then you won't even bet on him?
I know that's going to happen.
So why are you backing off the bet?
I don't know.
He needs to process it.
You wanted a whole diatribe about the coaches.
He needs to, during the commercial break,
I need to just make sure.
He needs to think about it.
Am I hearing something different?
No, he just doesn't know.
One of the whole coaching staff said we can't give Eckler the ball.
Yeah. Cakes just needs to process it and think about it.
Yes. I need some time to let it marinate.
Look,
that's the way my brain works.
You can be proven right.
Or doesn't work.
I think I'm coming from this almost as a fan perspective. The Eckler's the more exciting guy, and I think the guy that I would want to see touch the ball more. Robinson, as you said, is just the guy. EB just gave you the stats. I mean, that's pretty terrible. He didn't have one 90-yard game.
He had one 87-yard.
And that's because Gibby was in the way.
Now, also, we had a guy here that completely disrespected running the football, who was obsessed with throwing Howell to the Wolves.
That is a good point.
Now, he did carry it a little bit more towards the end of the season, but he got no 100-yard games, no 90-yard games. And it's not like, he could take one to the house at any point. I think, his longest run was maybe, 29 yards.
All right, I'm intrigued to hear what the listeners think. 800-636-1067, the MGM National Harbor listener lines. Are you buying this ProFootballNetwork.com? Now, it's a prediction that Brian Robinson Jr. will be the breakout player for the Washington Commanders this upcoming season.
And if you had to bet money, who's going to have more carries?
Yeah.
At the end of the season, Eckler or Robinson?
You know what? I'm now willing to make the bet. I'll bet on my guy. Yeah. I'll just bet on the fact that Austin Eckler is going to have a limited role in the offense, where they want him to be more of the pass catcher, that impact, than the lead running back for the team.
I think it'll be close. So Brian Robinson had 178 carries last year, 733 yards, average 4.1 yards per carry. It depends on the offense.
It's almost
here's one thing
to Eckler. Eckler had 179 carries.
Right, in less games.
15, I think.
14 games.
One thing we're kind of sleeping on is Jaden Daniels is going to run the ball a lot.
That is true.
So both these guys, probably the total number of carries will go down because let's say they have 35 carries as a team.
Right.
8 of them are probably going to be Jaden Daniels.
Probably
But
right.
But I kind of agree with JP in this sense. Of the two guys, the special one is Eckler. He's the special one. Robinson's just young.
I'm not arguing that Austin Eckler isn't a better overall football player than Brian Robinson Jr. I'm well aware that he is. I mean, there's a reason he was getting a decent chunk of money from the Chargers before he came here to Washington. I know who's more impactful. I just think that they're going to try to protect that asset in Austin Eckler by having Robinson take a lot of the punishment, especially from the early rushing down.
Only one of those two guys was featured on the #1 Netflix show. That was Austin Eckler.
The #1 Netflix show. Is that
the
about
TikTok cult
the TikTok
thing?
That is true.
He was a side character on the show.
If Brian Robinson Jr. had married the sister of the girl in the TikTok cult, it would have been Brian Robinson and not Austin Eckler.
All right, let's bring out a couple of these and we can take some more when we come back if we want. Let's go to Scott in Crofton. Hey, Scott. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey, I got to be Team Cakes on this one because it's tough to run the ball 100 yards when your offensive coordinator's passing 85 times a game, like you said, EB. But, I mean, I think it might be because Eckler's not going to get all the catches or all the runs. Jaden Daniels is going to run some. But, I mean, if anybody's going to break out, it's going to be hard to not break out after having such a mediocre season last year. So I guess that could be considered breakout. But when you're not running the ball at all, it's kind of tough to run for.
Well, who do you think is gonna have more carries at the end of the season?
Oh, I think Eckler's gonna have more carries the other day for sure.
Oh, really?
Oh, there you go.
No,
So
but
then
he
you're
said
on
he
JP's
agreed
side.
with Cakes.
You know what's yeah, he's all over the place. You know what's hilarious is in the bet book already. We've already done this bet.
Nice.
June 27th, 2024. The exact bet.
Deja vu.
For the exact
week?
dollar total.
Last weweek.
Last week.
Yeah.
We've already
So
consummated
stupid.
this bet.
So
What are we
stupid.
doing?
All right, real quick. Let's go to Dan.
We're ricking each other every time we talk about the stupid topic.
That's the
Dan
case.
in Fairfax. What's up, buddy? You're on with the Junkies.
Morning, boys. I'm kind of with Cakes, but only with semantics. I think Eckler is going to get more than 15 touches a game, but not more than 15 carries a game. They're going to feature him more in the passing game. That's where he's special. If you look at his rushing numbers, he was maybe slightly above average, but he was not the special player that people think he is, which is more of the Marshall Faulk role of a pass catcher out of the backfield.
Last year, for sure, his yards per carry went down to 3.5, but in his career, if you go year by year, Brian Robinson has never had the numbers
not
that
even
Eckler
close.
has had in yards per carry. I mean, Brian Robinson is a 4 yards a carry guy, which is not terrible.
He's
but-
only had 1 year, and that's last year, below 4.2.
Correct.
In fact, he's had 5.5, 5.2, 4.6, 4.4, 4.5. That's yards per carry.
Right.
But Brian Robinson doesn't sniff those numbers.
He's going to go, on average, further on a first down carry than Brian Robinson.
Right.
That's why I'm giving the ball more. I'm not saying give him 35 carries.
Right.
He's older. Maybe he had some injuries last year. Although by and large, you look at his career, he's been very durable.